Welcome back to the Lateral Move channel. Today I want to go over something a little different. One of my lateral moves that I consistently do is scroll through Reddit. So, Reddit has its place. I get that, it's a huge forum platform and there's plenty of people so you can get all sorts of different perspectives. But, it's just a shithole. So, I love to scroll through the Am I the Asshole Reddit threads just because you get some of the most unhinged stories with some of the most unhinged takes, and I just think it's really fun, and people are consistently wrong in their opinions. So, let's just go over some of these. Alright, so here I have it just sorted by new in this kind of r/am I the asshole. So let's take a look at the first one. If it loads. Alright, let's try this again. Alright, am I the asshole for telling my friend to break up with her boyfriend? And it has poo mode activated, whatever that means. Alright, so to be clear, this is just high schooler drama. So my friend, who I will call S, 14 female, has recently started dating this guy, whom I'll call B, 14 male. B used to bully my little brother, but I assumed that he had changed by then, as primary school kids are just naturally immature, and 2 years is a lot of time for someone as young as us. Anyways, B was known for being extremely manipulative and would often try to pitch his friends against one another, sever ties between his friends and their friends so that they would be more reliant on him, and would make racist comments to my brother and several other people. S had this friend whom I'll call K, 14 trans man. How can you be trans at 14? And at 14, you're not a man, regardless. Who's really close to her, almost like siblings. B started getting mad that S and K were this close, more specifically that they hugged each other regularly and asked S to stop. The thing is, B was completely fine with this until K came out as trans. Even though their friendship dynamics haven't changed in the slightest, and K has made it very clear that he has no romantic interest in S, B was still ticked off. Alongside being generally rude to K, B also did many weird things that I don't think should be described on Reddit. Realizing that this probably wasn't a healthy relationship, I told S that she might want to end it with him, but to no avail. I have no problem with them being together. Neither is S a very close friend of mine. We are friends, but I mostly only know her through K. But I'd hate to see her in an unhappy relationship. So, thinks she is the asshole for telling her friend to break up. Lovely bots. Alright, so there's no comments on this one yet. It's only 12 minutes ago. So, yes and no. It sounds like, obviously we're only getting one side of the story, but the B person is not a very good person in general. But at the same time, they're all 14. Like, no one is having any sort of, active relationship, right? It's probably just holding hands under the bleachers and, hugging in the hallway, taking up everyone's walking space. So, yes and no. I don't know that it really matters all that much. I think this one's just someone trying to air out their dirty laundry for everyone to see. Here, this one's gonna be juicy. He's got 53 comments from an hour ago. Am I the asshole for giving away part of my husband and I's emergency fund? Right off the bat, yes. My brother lost his job recently. His wife is a Shaw, no kids, So I don't know what that means. No kids, and their emergency fund is running out quickly. He's in the process of finding a new one, a job, I'm assuming. But they're really struggling, and I felt bad not to help in any way. My husband and I, on the other hand, have two stable jobs and have an emergency fund that has excess money in it. That's the point of an emergency fund. 24 plus months worth of our normal expenses. So I sent them a not too big portion of our fund just to relieve some stress. At the time, my husband found out extremely quickly, and now he's really upset, but I had told him about my brother's situation and hoped he'd understand a bit. And this person also says, I feel like I probably am the asshole. Well, my personal opinion is yes, because she made this whole decision and like the worst part is it's the emergency fund. Like that's specifically for emergencies, not for just giving away, right? If you're well off and you have two jobs, I'm sure you could just give some out of your normal bank account or normal, excess funds that you have, right? And then you don't have to worry about your emergency fund also. But she's definitely the asshole just because she did it without her husband's knowledge. Like, when it comes to finances, you both need to be on the same page. You can't have one person making big decisions like this. And, it might not have been all that much money. She doesn't say how much, like what percentage of it she gave away, just that she gave some out. So she could be making a much bigger deal of this on the internet than it really was, but who knows? Let's see what some of the comments have to say. You're the asshole. It's not your money, but your husband's too. Gave it away without even telling your husband. Wasn't an emergency. Yeah. If your brother and his wife have money troubles, his wife could have gotten a job too. It's true. You're the asshole. Yep. Same. You're the asshole. Decision required participation from both you and your husband. It's his money as much as it is yours. Yep. Husband's money, same as yours. It's dangerously optimistic to choose the sole breadwinner dynamic when one isn't super rich. I think that is a really poor mentality. You can definitely make it work. You just have to be smart about saving your money and not, spending it as soon as you get it, right? You're not spending more money than you have. If you have things that work, you don't need to constantly be upgrading to new things. So, yeah, there's definitely going to be hard times when that person loses their job, but you can make it work. It's not a huge deal. I think that person is a little pessimistic in that sense. You're the asshole and gave away a chunk of your husband's emergency fund, or you and your husband's emergency fund without even talking to him about it. Yeah. What if he took some of your savings and gave it to his family without discussing it with you? Would you be upset? You're the asshole. If they need money, then the STA. I still don't know what that acronym means. I feel like it's stay-at-home wife, but it doesn't. That's the wrong acronym for that. My brother can pick up some low-paying job as well, assuming it's better than unemployment. Yep, you're the asshole. You're the asshole. Stay-at-home wife with no kids. What's stopping her from getting a job? Yep. Alright, it's looking like pretty much everybody's on the same page that she's the asshole. Now, everyone is pretty, full on, you're the asshole. I think it would be a much better soft, you're the asshole. I think that's more appropriate here. If you're not in a dire situation by any means, then it's not a huge deal. Maybe see if they'll pay it back at some point, but yeah, definitely that's one to talk with your spouse about before you do that kind of thing. she saw me cuddling. Oh. Alright, am I the asshole for telling my best friend to get out of my room when she saw me cuddling with my stepbrother? That one should be interesting. I, 17 female, have a stepbrother, 16 male, and we watch movies or play games and end up falling asleep in each other's bed. It's a bit weird. This was the norm for us sometimes when I'm having a really rough day. I just go into his room and cuddle him until I fall asleep because he's really comforting. Anyways, I told my best friend to come over so we could play the game together on the PS5. And I was laying down cuddling with my stepbrother in my room and didn't hear my mom let her in. When she walked in, she stared at the both of us and made this weird face before saying, "Aren't y'all step-siblings?" I answered yes, confused, and then she continued saying, "Why were we in bed together then?" I told her this was normal, and she started saying a whole bunch of stuff of why it was weird and everything. I got annoyed at it and told her to get out. She ended up texting our group chat saying how I'm a weirdo and that she doesn't want to be around me anymore. And now some of our mutual friends in the group chat think I'm weird, while others say this is fine and that it's just cuddling. I mean, it's definitely weird. Yeah, it's definitely weird. Having a good relationship with your siblings, step or regular or anything, like, that's not a big deal. Hanging out in each other's rooms, playing on the game stations and watching movies, like that, all that stuff is normal. Falling asleep, like, that's whatever, but it's the cuddling portion, like, that is a bit weird, and especially if they're not actually related, right? We don't know how long they've been step siblings. Maybe there is some weird feelings going on there. Maybe she doesn't feel it, but the brother sure might. So it's definitely a little bit weird. And I almost get the feeling that she knows that just because she saw the confusion and then got defensive from it. Like, so defensive from it. So, I don't know. Let's see what the comments say. Sounds like my daughter's having a cuddle. Well, that's, I guess it's different when it's two siblings who are, the same gender. Like, then it's, nothing's gonna happen, really. And also if they're, like, real siblings. I don't know, this guy says, not the asshole. Just because your friend has a dirty mind doesn't mean you were doing anything wrong. That's true. It's not that she was doing something wrong. It's just, I don't know, step siblings, boy and girl, right about that age when they're kind of getting into stuff, it's definitely a little bit weird. Behavior is understandable but might be misinterpreted. Communicate openly with your friends. Well, I would most certainly not do that. I would have tried to hide this at all possible steps. This seems too weird. Teenagers typically cuddle with their siblings in bed when they have a hard time. Oh, do teenage blah, blah, blah. Sorry, this just seems too weird. Do teenagers typically cuddle their siblings in bed when they have a hard time? Do normal brothers and sisters and their teenagers do that? Asking seriously. My stepbrother and I met at 11 and 12, respectively. We were very close, but still, the answer is no. This one's no. Personally, my brother and I never did that. We don't have the best relationship, but we surely never did that. Not the asshole. However, do not play coy. You 100% knew. Sorry, but cuddling with a stepbrother as a teen is definitely weird. Yeah. Not the asshole. Does BSF stand for bullshit friend? Next up, am I the asshole for getting stuck? You're the asshole. This is a fake ass story. Certainly weird. Not the asshole. Very, very weird. Yeah. I don't know. It seems like everybody thinks it's weird, and some people have weirdly close relationships with their siblings or step siblings that they're trying to make sure everybody else knows is not weird, also. Am I the asshole for being honest that I thought my coach was being inappropriate? I play for a women's football team. I guess, is this British or American football? I play for a women's football team. The coach is also dating the captain of our team. That's weird. Fast forward a month into the season, I was out walking and the coach saw me and pulled up. He got out of his truck and was asking me how I was enjoying the team. I said everything's been great. He then offered if I wanted private training outside of training. He's flexible with work so he can make time to train me. I said thanks, but I'm pretty busy with being a mom. Okay, so it's British football. With being a mom, and I'd have to see with my husband. I then tried to change the subject and said I thought his girlfriend, Amy, the captain of our team, is really lovely, and I thought it was nice he's met a lovely girl. He then insinuated that he wasn't sure about things with her, that he was 50-50, and then said I must know how I feel about my relationship. I said, yeah, I'm pretty sure about my relationship as I've had a baby with him. He laughed and then said, well, let me know if you ever want extra training. I didn't say anything to anyone, only my husband, and he agreed it was a little creepy. The coach then added me on Snapchat and sent me a picture of him going to the gym. Then it comes out that the coach and Amy are breaking up. I said to Amy that he added me on Snapchat, and he said yes, he seems to have all these side chicks on that app. She messaged me later asking about him adding me, and I said I've not ever responded to him. I also mentioned that he sent me a message from the manager that he might be possibly getting stood down. Amy then tells the manager that the coach added me on Snapchat and sent me a screenshot of private messages between himself and the manager. So then the manager contacted me to confirm if it was all true, and then I told her everything, the offering private training, telling me about the status of his relationship, etc. She was a bit shocked and then told me that this wasn't the first time this had happened and thanked me for being honest. The coach then gets stood down. He sends me messages apologizing, saying he didn't mean to make me feel uncomfortable. He only wanted me to be the best player that I could be so that I wasn't embarrassed at training. And he only added me on Snapchat because he has a lot of friends on there. And he reiterated how sorry he was. Now I feel really bad because maybe I did blow this all up, but in the same breath, I felt like he was putting a target on my back, favoring me in a women's team while dating Amy the captain. Because I know what women are like, they will think I must have done something to make him think he had a chance. And then I get the blame. Am I the asshole? Well, from everything she said, no, she's not. Sounds like this guy is a bit of a horn dog and was just trying to get his rocks off with all the people that he's in a position of power over. So, he's definitely the asshole. But, that being said, she's not by any means. And maybe she is for being British, but that's a whole different story. I mean, it doesn't sound like she blew anything up. She told her husband, and then she kind of got dragged into it, it seems. Like, Amy was asking her about stuff, and then the manager was asking her about stuff, so. Let's see what the comments say. Not the asshole, you did the right thing by speaking up. Coach was crossing some serious boundaries. Yeah. He's gaslighting you, trying to keep up with the oh-so-perfect appearance. Just remember what Amy told you. Yes, he seems to have all these side chicks on the app. Yeah, I think he's definitely trying to... I don't like the term gaslight. I don't think it applies in this situation, per se. But he's definitely trying to backtrack and just manipulate her a little bit to see that, or just to keep up appearances. And, it seems like she's falling for it a little bit, right? That last paragraph of now I feel really bad because maybe I did blow all this up. Like, no. Everything you just said was, I was quiet about it until someone else brought it up. So I think it's just, you're letting your emotions get the better of you in this instance. Not the asshole who's being inappropriate and is now making excuses when he got caught. Yeah. Certainly sounds like the coach was being inappropriate. Yeah. Sure, you're all adults, but you're married. It's not even that. It's that he's in a position of power over them, right? It's like sleeping with your boss to, get a leg up at a office job. It's, it's not right. And then if you have that relationship, your boss is going to have more influence over you in both good and bad ways. Small, not the asshole. Person has right to their feelings. You're the one who reacted to his mentioning extra training by bringing up his relationship and taking the conversation in that inappropriate direction. Maybe you were right all along and his intentions were bad. Well, that's definitely possible, but I think that's one that you'd have to look at on, in person. You'd have to see the whole mannerisms and any underlying context that might have been there that just isn't expressed over a text. Not the asshole. Unless there's proof of some sort of feelings of impropriety. Unless there's actual proof, then some sort of feelings of impropriety are not enough to stir things up. Soft, you're the asshole because it did seem to work out, but it's not a good way to deal with people. Coach simply offered extra coaching, overshared a little bit, and added a player on Snapchat. That's a good point. Well, not the first part. Or the first part's good, not the middle part. Yeah. But it didn't seem like she stirred things up, also, was the thing. Is she seemed like she just told her husband and then kind of let it sit until everyone else started bringing it up to her. But, and again, with this last part, yeah, you kind of just need to be there to see the context in person of, did he say it like, oh, we can do extra training? Or is he just like, yeah, your shot sucks, come in and we'll work on it? This one's got 44 comments, so it's going to be pretty interesting. Am I the asshole for telling my brother to listen to his kids instead of trying to make things work? My brother was married for many years and had 3 children with his ex-wife. 7 years ago, they divorced. 4 years ago, my brother got serious with his current wife, and they have 2 children together. 1 born and another on the way. My brother's children from this relationship with his ex-wife are now all teens to young adults, 19 and under. It was pretty clear from the get-go that the kids weren't okay with him remarrying. They pulled back and he followed after them so they wouldn't withdraw too much. He made the effort to get them and his wife on good terms, then to come to terms with new babies on the way. No matter what my brother does, his kids are not okay with it, and they told him to his face that they simply don't want a stepfamily, so they're choosing not to have a relationship with him. He has ignored this, and he continues to chase them. He tried therapy, but the kids refused to participate. They went physically, but said nothing. He has tried going out with all the kids to eat and encouraging them to interact with his youngest, but they didn't. Now, two of them no longer go to his house at all and make zero effort to stay in touch, while the younger of the three goes only when legally obligated and uses all their time doing other things so they're not with him. The reason for all this is they do not see blended families as real families. They don't want to be in one. They don't want to accept siblings that are not full-blooded siblings, and they do not want to have parents. And they do not want to have a parent's spouse in their lives. Nothing and nobody can change their minds. They do not see blended families as positive or even a neutral thing. It's all negative to them. That's a whole thing that I won't go into too much, but they told my brother this. Now, we're only halfway through the story, a little over halfway, but it seems like the mother is probably feeding them this, not a lie, but, she's just really, putting this belief into them of blended families aren't real families, which, that's not true. It's still a real family. It's just not the same. It's a different dynamic. And I get it can be tough to, get to know everybody and feel comfortable and all that kind of stuff, but it seems like the mom probably can't remarry, and she's probably being very just vengeful in the way that she can. She's trying to manipulate the children to get back at the husband. So she's trying to make them withdraw as much as she can so that he can't be happy because she's upset. But let's keep reading here. So when he spoke to me recently about how sad it made him, I empathized with him and offered him a shoulder to lean on and support. I told him he did all he could to make it work, and when he said he just didn't know what to do, that's when I told him he needs to start listening to the kids instead of trying to make things work. I reminded him that kids have been very clear about their feelings on this remarriage and additional kids, and if they refuse to give therapy a go and refuse to be around them, he needs to listen and refocus, because it won't do his younger two kids any good to be rejected constantly. And it won't bring the kids in if they're so anti-blended family. He told me he was very disappointed that I wouldn't see that he can't do that as a parent, and that it's his job to try to keep everything. He told me he was very disappointed and that I wouldn't see. He told me he was very disappointed that I wouldn't see that he can't do that as a parent, and that it's his job to keep trying and never give up. Okay. This weirdly worded sentence there. Am I the asshole? Yes and no. Not in sentiment. If I was in that situation, I would feel the same way of, from everything this person has told you, just, there's no chance of reconciling with the kids, right? Unless the dad divorces his current wife and ditches his kids with his second wife, there's no chance. But at the same time, maybe he just needs to take a different approach to it and, just stop trying to involve his wife and kids for the moment. Just stop and go figure out how to bring his first kids with him, right? Just the, 4 of them? Was it 3 kids? Something like that. So, yeah, 3 kids and him, right? Just ignore the wife, current and ex, ignore the current kids, and just focus on the older kids and figure out how you can bring them together, and not with therapy. I hate that everybody recommends therapy for everything. I have a degree in psychology. I'm working towards my master's so that I can do therapy and counseling. And I absolutely hate that everybody always tries to force therapy on everyone all the time for everything. It simply does not work, right? For most people, for most things, therapy is just an excuse to go bitch and moan to someone, and then you pay out the ass for it, right? There are very few things that therapy actually helps for. So, not therapy. You need to find something where you can just go, and not even something big. Just like start with something like go to the movies. Find a movie they like. Go to the movies. Find, you know, what sports do they like to play? Go play some sport, or go, figure out what their favorite video game is or something. But find something, and just small steps here and there until you can get to the point where they'll at least sit down and have a full conversation with you, and then you can just keep building from there. Let's look at some of the comments. Not the asshole. He wants what he wants. His children want what his children want isn't important to him. Well, see, that's just completely wrong. Well, no, I guess this person has a point. He is ignoring the wants of his kids because he wants to be involved in their life. Which, that's just a good dad right there. He's trying his best to stay involved, to, stay in their life, and they're just making it difficult for him. You've done as much as you can. Pretending that it will all turn out as he wants isn't going to help him. Has he ever considered his children's disappointment? His children should be happy for him that he is happy. And I get if they are upset because he's not spending as much time with them. But if he's still making the effort to stay in their lives, so they should be happy. And again, I think this is, the mother is feeding the kids this belief of the blended family isn't a real family, which is kind of ridiculous. Kids have a pretty odious attitude towards blended families, but you're right that there's not much that your brother can do about that. Where did they pick up this attitude? Has their mother been alienating them from their brother? Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Or has he never been much of a father? With as much as it seems like he's trying to be in their lives, I can't imagine that's the case. As a parent, your brother needs to never give up on his relationship. Yeah, that's the important part, is if he's making the effort, eventually one of them or all of them will come back and make the effort to get back involved. Because it's not like he's truly wronged them in any way. They're just not happy that he has a different wife. There's no interpersonal conflict between you and your brother. All you did was have a conversation. With that said, his kids sound like assholes who refuse to accept the fact that their father is an adult who can move on and have adult relationships. Yeah. They don't see blended families as real families. They don't want to be in one. They don't want to accept their siblings. Blah, blah, blah. It's just a big quote. This sounds like something the kids were taught, not something that's inherent. Are you from a culture where this is the norm? What was the reason for the divorce originally? Could it have affected their view of the children to their father too? Your brother's right. If he gives up trying, he's just as much giving up being a parent to one of the groups. Yeah. That's true. We don't know what the reason for the divorce is or anything like that. So I guess it could affect their beliefs or their outlook on him and his new family. But again, just with how hard he's trying, I can't imagine that would be the case. Not the asshole. You may have a more objective view on things, but he's unwilling to give up, which essentially is what you're telling him to do. Yeah, I think that's Like, soft asshole right there is you're telling him to give up. I get where the author is coming from, but yeah, you are telling him to give up and just essentially leave his family behind, just that whole portion of his life. You're a good sister, by the way. I can see you care for your brother. Yeah. This person said not the asshole, but I would switch it to soft, you're the asshole, just because of this first line here of you're telling him to give up. I think there's good intentions, it's just not the right way to do it. Not the asshole, it's strange. It's a strange thing what the children think about blended families, but if they're clear about it and nothing's worked, it's not even therapy. There isn't much you can do to blend the family. Yeah. Not the asshole, but someone needs to explain to the kids that they can't walk around claiming their dad abandoned them because he didn't. True. Very true. It's hard for your brother to realize he needs to cut them off because he seems like he cares about them, but that's what he needs to do, which is going to be an uphill battle for him. No, he doesn't need to cut them out. He needs to take a different approach, but he shouldn't stop. Not the asshole, and you gave him excellent counsel. If he doesn't start listening to his kids and focusing on building a relationship with them, he'll lose them permanently. If he doesn't start. That's what he's trying to do, though. This comment doesn't make any sense. Alright? He's trying to build a relationship with them. So I don't understand the stop focusing on them. Start listening to them. Like that. Those two things don't go together. This person is stupid. As a parent, it's a good job to do what's best for your kids. Not the asshole. As a parent, it's good job to do what's best for his kids, to hear and see them, to understand what's best. He's just trying to get them to accept what he's already decided on. Without them, he's fighting a battle of wills that he's going to lose. See, the thing is, the kids are supposed to listen. Alright, it says, I feel bad for the kids having a father who refuses to listen to them, but that doesn't matter. The kids are supposed to listen to the father. Now, obviously, once they are legal adults, they don't have to listen to anyone. They can go do whatever they want. But he's still their father, and they have to accept that he can make his own decisions. And if they cared about him, they would be happy for him. Not the asshole. He shouldn't be pushing them to connect with his younger kids, but he shouldn't give up on his older kids. I hope he's willing to compromise with hanging out with them alone so he's still able to have the relationship. I think that's a good way to do it, a good way to look at it. Just find a different way to approach it. Stop trying to connect the families. I think that is a losing battle, but if you have enough time, you're able to build a relationship with them on their own. Eventually, you might be able to not get them like fully on board, but you can get them in a much better spot with where you're at. Not the asshole. I don't care for his older kid's position on blended families, but he cannot force that change. True. The more he tries to force the position, the more he is pushing them away. Listening to his kids and working to maintain a relationship is the best he can do for now. It is disappointing for him, but it's the reality of the current situation. Yeah. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. The father has to respect the fact that his children don't want to have anything to do with his new do-over family. I don't think that's the right way to look at that either. I mean, it's not a do-over family, it's just a new family. Right? It's not like if it was a do-over family, he would have totally ditched his first family and then started these. But he didn't. He's still trying to have a relationship there. So it's not a do-over, it's just a new. If he wants to have any kind of relationship with them in the future, you better start accepting their new boundaries now. True, he can only do so much to change their opinions, but he can certainly work within the boundaries they've given him. Not the asshole. I get your point, but it seems as though you're essentially telling him to abandon his kids and just stop trying to be in their lives. He's trying, and you read so many Am I the Asshole, where people complain about their fathers just stop bothering them once they had new families. They will throw it in their face years to come, and if he doesn't try everything. But like you said, he does need to listen to them more. All he will do is keep pushing them away. The best thing he can do is just stop and listen to them. Have a relationship with them away from the wife and the new kids, and just be their father. Have meals, day trips. No motive other than seeing his older children. Yeah, that's gonna be the winning strategy right there. Then maybe one day they might decide to come around. What he's doing now is just going to make them more determined, and frankly, once the younger of the three times out of legally having to go, they might just all cut him off. Odds are high the oldest ones are only being civil so the younger one doesn't get it all in the neck. Not the asshole. Yeah, fair point. That is a fair point. Alright, well, thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.